Hello.
Hello. Hi, Rita. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
You're about the same. Okay.
Yeah, I'm able to say that.
So these are the topics you discussed
Mm,
in class.
Exception handlings, yeah.
So do you have doubt on any of the topic?
No.
You're able to practice on all those things, right?
Yeah, yes.
Working with the nested exception. Yesterday we have seen about like nested multiple catch blocks, right? So one try block with the multiple catch blocks. Like that's what we have seen, right?
Yeah, yes.
So out of those 100,000 lines, we can expect a multiple issues. That's where like we have attempted with the multiple catch blocks. So
Mm,
the next one is called the nested try block. The reason
mm.
is yesterday, so out of those tunnel lines, if any problem comes, immediately it coming out the catch block. So, but you do not want to come out completely. Instead, you would like to do an alternate approach. Means,
Okay. Mm.
so like, let's say you're dividing by 0. So divisible by 0 means arithmetic exception you will be getting, right? But still, if something goes wrong as such, so I would like to just recalculate with a divisible by 1 so that my program remaining logic is going to continue.
Okay.
So if you want to have the customization specific, it means taking a decision in between, like instead of coming out from completely, just providing alternate solution in between. So moving with the remaining logic, that also we can do. That's where like the nesting of the try blocks works. Means we can write a try block inside a try block. In the same way, if inside if.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
within try block, we can write once again try, catch, finally everything can write. So accordingly, their life cycle means their way of execution comes into picture. Like within a try block, is want to end his life cycle only within the try, right?
Mm.
So
Okay.
all the blocks like try, catch, finally, once you return inside any try, so the life of the try is going to be span only within that. So that's where the try catch block, multi try catch block. So I'll show you an example directly how we can code the usage. Understand, right? The requirement you are
Yeah,
getting
understood. Understood.
multi try.
Data block.
Sorry, next try it is. Multi-catch test, right? So I'll just copy the same logic. Then this doesn't work out. I'll create one more. Try. So this is, we know that from here there is a possibility. So after that, so we assume that we have some other logic, right?
Mm.
Okay. So in this, when we run this program, obviously this is going to work as usual without an issue. Right? So, but when I divisible by 0, immediately it comes to an exception, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it will not execute the logic which is there after that. It fails
Mm.
here at the line I have put in, it will not execute the remaining logic. So here I just written only 2 lines, but assume that you might be having many lines of code where still, even though it gives an exception, you would like to proceed further. What you can do, you
Okay.
can do some alternate approach. I'll just do
Mm.
an inside try. A particular my variable outside. Let mark this be equal to 1, just to avoid the error. So this is what to solve your problem. So if something goes wrong, immediately it assumes instead of b value 0, it assumes b value 1 and manipulate with something. So here the approach is to just to avoid the error and continue with the remaining logic.
Okay.
So the solution is not b equal to 0 or b equal to 1. That's not the focus here. So just to like bypass that error and continue with the remaining logic instead of stopping everything, just move further. That's what the logic. That's where like we are doing alternate approach within the try inside and the try.
Okay. In try, it is getting some error, so it is throwing that issue to catch block.
Catch plug in
And
the catch plug. What I did, so I just did manipulation. So instead of because b is 0, I'm just passing b equal to 1. I'm calculating the result. So I know the result is wrong, but still I'm proceeding with the remaining logic, right?
Oh,
That's the primary intention.
okay.
Instead of coming out from the like, top to the breaking of your execution, so I would like to do the remaining logic because there is something else in processing in my programs which I would like to complete everything, whether it is Excel file.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, yes. Understood. Understood.
So like that, you can have any number of tries. There is no limitation that
Mm.
only one side. So you can have one more try or here you can have one more try. So just like a kind of like if else block as many number we use, right? Just like how we can play around. That's way we can use any number of statements.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Understood? Is a different exception. Till now, we were just playing around with the exceptions which are already available in the system. So it means given by Java. The reason is so Java can give only the exceptions which are general, right?
Okay.
General in the sense like array index or number of format exceptions. These are the known kind of issues. So that's where like they have identified all the known issues and they have created an exceptions. So as part of the Java software. But there are certain cases like which you would like to create an exception which is specific to your project. So your project means Java they cannot give you, right? Java software can give you only general things because
Okay.
not specific to particular project. They are just released the software, the general known problems as an exception. So we can use those things. But if you wish to have something, an exception which is specific to your project, then you need to create exception which is specific to your project, right? That's where
Yeah.
the different exception comes into picture. Means we can create our own exception if something goes wrong.
Okay. Okay.
Till now we are using existing exceptions. The
Yeah.
same
These are predefined
predefined
exceptions.
exceptions. Like anything we name it, so it's into the predefined and the common errors.
Hmm.
If something goes wrong, this is the problem. So no matter like which project you work, this is going to be
Hmm.
the common thing, right?
Hmm.
But when
Hmm.
you talk something about your project specific, there are certain cases that you might, let's say, I would like to check a age validation. So whenever a student enters an age,
Hmm.
so if the age is not within the range, I would like to throw an exception saying that the age is not within the range.
Okay.
Maybe
Hmm.
suppose you would like to check the salary range. So
Hmm.
then you can write a salary exception or age invalid exception like that. You can write any exception.
Okay. We can write by our own also.
We
Okay. We
can
can
write our
create.
own exception. We can report those exceptions. So, but you have to use those things along with these two classes, like throw and throws class. Okay. So first,
Hmm.
how we can write an exception. But the existing exception cannot cover all the scenarios, right? There are scenarios which you need to come up like based on specific to your project. That's where.
Okay. So most of the times we do create by our own also exceptions. I mean
Both,
exceptions.
both we do.
Both. Okay.
When you're doing the project means obviously we will be having a known errors, right? So those
Okay.
format and all those things that we might see based on the logic. At the same time, the project specific exception also we do.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you just need to exception. Now your class becomes exception. So we will have on this class constructor. One with remember super.
Yeah, yesterday only we discussed
So
immediate immediate parent class.
yes, immediate parent class. So here when I call super, immediately it calls this parent class. So I created one default constructor and one parameter constructor. Means whenever any exception created for this object with a string message, so I would like to pass the same message to my super class so that it follows the exception hierarchy. Okay.
Okay.
Now my customized exception object is created. Now only thing I have to report this error exception message whenever the age is not within the range of our expected age. Okay. Here, if suppose your business requirement is if age is less than 20 or more than 30, then it's invalid. Then you can write the logic accordingly. Age less than 20 or age greater than 30, then you would like to say that this is not a valid age, right? So what you will say, you'll report an error message. So I have to use these things. First I'll use, and then I'll come back to the explanation. Okay.
Okay.
You have to create your exception object instance. Go to the message. It should be 20 to 30, right? That's the message I would like to pass. So I just created an object, then I'll say report my exception. So when I report, so I'll have to mention this guy. Observe the things like so. All our dependency. As soon as I got error, I'm just doing something here. As soon as I do something here, immediately error came here. Picking.
Okay, throws invalid age exception. Okay.
So when I say throw I, what is I? Invalid age exception, right?
Yes.
Immediately it was giving error. So then I moved. I just mentioned something here that throws the exception name I mentioned. After mentioning this one, immediately error moved to this level. That means error result from here. So error moved to this level. So if you place a pointer here, what it is saying? Simply saying you have not handled except what is exception? Invalid age exception. Clearly saying, right?
Yeah.
Earlier also you might have seen unhandled exception, I have exception, something like this, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Now you are reporting your exception. Now someone has to handle that. Right. Remember that invalid age exception is created by us.
Oh, okay. Invalid age exception. Oh, yes.
Now, when I run this program, first time I'm market age is valid, right?
Okay.
It is valid because age is within the 20 to 30. So I'll just mention that.
Oh,
I'm entering the age which is less than 20.
yeah.
This calls this constructor. This comes into this, enters into this logic. That's where like the exception comes into picture now.
Hmm.
The age should be within 20 to 30. From where it's coming, here it is displaying. So from where it came into picture, from here it has reported that some issue and that came into this block, the catch block. Directly I just print the message.
Okay. If it has any issue, then throw it to the I. That's why you wrote throw I here.
Exactly. So if condition is satisfied means there is an issue for me, right? I just
And
throw.
okay, but here also just we define throws invalid age exception. Top
Yeah, there is a
top
difference throw
basically.
and throws. I'm going to talk about it. Execution is you are here, right? So if there is an issue, you are reporting something, and when you
Yes.
report something, whoever called you is responsible to handle that. So main method called my constructor, right?
Yes.
So that's where like this guy is supposed to handle that.
So when we are throwing our exception, try is going to catch.
Exactly.
And okay, try is going to catch, and what it is going to do there? New user defined exception
So
test
I'm
age.
just calling a constructor. New user
Oh,
defined. So in this constructor, I'm getting an exception.
okay, okay, yeah, okay, got it. From try block, you're going to call that exception. Okay, method constructor.
Constructor. In that
Hmm.
constructor, somewhere it was failing some issue. It was
Okay.
reporting an exception. That report, whose responsibility? He's not going to handle that. He is going to send them throw away. So when he's throwing away, obviously who is calling? The main method is calling from here. So then
Yeah.
this guy's responsibility to handle that exception. That's what we just handled here.
Okay, 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 understood.
Suppose if main method also do not wish to handle them.
Mm.
So let me comment this. It's expecting exception, right? Suppose if you do not wish to handle that, then what you can say, you can also throw out of me. That's all.
Okay, constructor don't does not like to handle the exception. That's why you
Throwing, he's throwing.
specified over there.
He's throwing a ball out of his court, and this guy's responsibility. If you feel that he
Okay.
can handle, you do that. If you feel that he cannot handle, throw out of my control. Just throwing. Then there
Okay.
is no error here. Then now who is going to take care? Now JVM is going to take care. What is going to take care? The error is comes means obviously it reports that error. Right?
Okay, it will show it there. Okay, runtime.
Runtime. Because for the JVM, you're saying that I cannot handle, just you take care of yourself. It
Hmm.
cannot take care, right? So just report that error.
Hmm.
It's all you need to take care. If you cannot just throw away, then JVM will do the default behavior. So this is a age old exception and this is error message.
Oh, now understood why you wrote throws invalid age exception.
Still
Just if we
haven't
want to throw, okay. Just we don't want to. If we don't want to handle that exception, just we need to specify that
throw
over
away.
there.
Yes.
Okay,
Now
understood.
we'll discuss about this should throw and throws class.
Through and through. Okay.
Actually, these three are linked. So without discussing these things, we cannot complete this. And at the same time, without this, we cannot complete it. So all three are linked.
Okay.
So now throw and throws class. Throw is basically just to report a message, report an exception message, right?
Report. Okay.
Just like this is my issue I declared, so I have to report to someone else who is invoking me because I'm not capable of handling the situation here. So I have to inform someone else, right? Yeah, I'm facing so and so issue, right? Facing up to this part is clear that he's willing to report an exception. When he is willing to report an exception, at the same time, he in your method signature, method or constructor signature, you need to mention that what type of exception you are throwing. Here you are saying I. I is a invalid exception type that you know here, right?
Yeah.
But for others, doesn't know like what is I, right? So you are throwing indirectly when you say I, you are directly throwing invalidization, right? That's what the type you have mentioned here. So whenever somebody looks at my signature, by looking when the calling the signature itself, like they should know that this is the possible exception that might throw. If someone is giving you a class, okay, assume that there is a constructor and there are throws. And after looking at the signature, this is a signature, you should make sure of handling your code that to handle this exception.
Okay.
This guy is reporting an error. So whatever the reporting possibility, so he need to mention in the signature that I might throw this issue. It's might throw, not mandatory.
Okay.
Then whoever is invoking this constructor or a method, it's his responsibility to handle that. So assume that you are coded this class, okay? In your design, you are going to mention the throws whatever some exception. So let's say I'm calling your class. So I need to make sure that whatever the exception you throw, I need to handle all those them.
Okay.
Throw is like just you mention the instance, whereas in throws class, you just mention the exception names, like what are the exception types that you might throw out of this piece of code.
Okay. Throw. Okay. It specifies the instance
Yes,
and throws.
specifies the type of the class name.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I cannot say I here. I is specific to only this block,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you are reporting something. So why I am mentioning the type here, type in the class name? The reason is it just a suspicion that some from this piece of code I might get this kind of exception or I might not, right? If the age is proper, then I might not get exception, right? If the age is invalid, then only I might get exception. So he cannot specify any particular things. He can just give a general exception name that what is the possible exception that you might get. That's where you need to mention the type of an exception here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When you mention the type of exception in the signature, then whoever is involved in that particular class is his responsibility to handle them.
Okay.
If he's not handling, it's going to give us an error.
Actually, from main method, we are going to invoke the constructor. So in main method, we are declaring that in try and catch blocks.
Yes. Wherever you are invoking, that is the place you need to handle the exception.
Okay.
Got it? I can throw multiple. So here I can mention multiple things like, let's say, any number of exceptions I can mention.
Okay.
That indicates that all those exceptions are the possible exceptions that might come out of this code. Clear now? Now we talked about the differences between these two.
But throw and throws both are doing the same thing. exception from the method. Just I is also doing the same. Throw I means it is also just throwing the exception from them, and throws invalid age exception. It's also doing the same thing. Just they're
No,
throwing out.
no. Actually, throwing happening here. Here it's
Uh,
not throwing. Here just mentioning that I might. So I might give this kind of issue. That's what the mentioning here.
okay, we are mentioning that this
Yes.
kind of
Let's
issue.
let's. I just commented this. Do you think this is throwing? No, this is not throwing. This is just mentioning that if somebody calls me, there is a possibility that I might throw this. But
Okay,
in your
okay.
code, nobody is throwing here. You're just giving a, like in your application form, there is a star exclusions saying that these are the terms and conditions. Whether those terms and conditions are really going to apply or not, it's specific to that particular scenario, right?
Oh, okay, but by seeing the method name itself, we need to get analyzed that this kind of issue is going to get, right?
Exactly.
By practice, it may get, I think.
So
Okay.
he clearly saying that this is the exception. So you're supposed to handle whether it's really throwing inside or not. That doesn't. That's a secondary thing.
Mm.
You need to handle that. Otherwise, your program will not allow you to move further.
Okay.
So
Mm.
this statement indicates that you're not throwing. You're just informing that I might throw you something like this.
Okay, this kind of exceptions. Okay.
And this guy indicates that I'm strictly saying that I'm throwing right away. When he entered inside means I'm throwing right away. Whether you catch it or not, that's not my problem. So it's your take, like who is calling me.
Okay, okay. Mm.
Got it?
Understood.
Now once you declare discuss about differences, like so we have the couple of differences between throw and throws class. So we have see use both the things together, right? We'll just see that where we can use the throw. Throw keyword is used to explicitly throw an exception.
Okay.
Throw
Through Q.
keyword is explicitly throw an exception, right?
Mm.
Whereas throws keyword is used to just to declare an exception. Means I'm just giving information that so I might the logic inside this block might throw this issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, understood.
Understood, right?
Understood.
Okay. Checked exception cannot be propagated using throw. Cannot be propagated using throw clause. There is a checked exception can be propagated using throws clause. Means you can mention the checked exception here, but you
Check
cannot
it.
mention checked exception. We have a couple of checked exceptions, right?
Yes, run compile time.
Yes. So checked
Mm.
exception cannot be propagated using a throw clause, but they can be propagated using a throws clause.
Mm.
Throw is followed by an instance.
Okay.
Throws is followed by class.
Okay.
So throw is within your method or a block or in a code.
Mm.
The throws is only in the signature. It can be in method signature or a trusted signature.
Mm.
So you cannot throw multiple exceptions at the same time. One throw, one exception.
Okay.
So if you want to throw one second, you might have one more condition you can throw, but you cannot say throw I comma j, you cannot do that. But here you can throw multiple at the same time because here issue is specific. Like I might have one more condition, I might get one more problem, and one more condition, one more problem. But here I have to mention in my signature that what are the problems 1, 2, 3, right? The problems I can mention that any number of problems. But here am I going to get the really problems? It depends on the logic expression, right? That's where I can say multiple exceptions here. Not enter. Right. Just to show you one more exception. So this is right. IO exception you might get.
System.in.read.
So IO exception yesterday I showed you, right?
Yes.
And I'm showing this one.
Yes.
So here,
Remember.
this logic, this guy is supposed to handle the exception, IO exception, but he feels that I do not want to do that. Immediately mention the exception. When they throw it out of his code, then who is responsibility? Then this guy is responsible because ball came into this code.
Multiple mark.
And now his responsibility. You can use one more catch, or you can go for a general thing. right? Either you can go for under catch or you can go for general thing.
Mm-mm.
That's clear, right?
Understood. So a general thing means it can catch any type of
You can catch
exceptions.
on the bigger container, you can hold anything. It's capable of handling topmost class, right? It can catch
Okay.
everything.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Understood.
Use of a print stack trace method. Till now, in the catch block, I'm just printing my messages, right? Generally, but there is a possibility that usually, say, till now I'm just displaying message, right? When I throw out my message to JVM displayed the same message. Remember?
Mm.
The same thing I'm doing now.
Okay.
So, advantage of print stack message is like it will tell you where exactly the problem is.
Mm-mm.
In your catch block, till now we are just displaying something message, right? So instead,
Mm.
what I did, I just called a standard function which is there in my exception, okay, which is going to tell me the problem where exactly in which class in which method.
Okay. Okay.
I'll show you usage. For that, you need to have multiple classes.
Okay. Yesterday, I think you said something about that clear message.
Clear message.
Not clear message means in catch block we need to give the exact message by that we can understand from where we got this regarding to which this error belongs
Exactly,
to.
exactly. That is for the outer world, right? But being the
Yeah.
developer, you should know actual problem, right?
Yeah.
So for the user, you should tell that it's because of so and so problem. But from the
Mm.
technology perspective, when you're developing something, you should know the actual problem, right?
Okay. Okay.
When you're
Mm.
developing in the development stage, especially,
Yeah.
or maybe in the production stage, if something goes wrong, for the outer world, for the end user, we say something that this might be the problem. But in the background, you should know what's the issue. Then only, if you are working in the production environment and the production tickets, you should know the complete details. Then only you can address that issue, right?
Oh.
It's
Mm.
from the maintenance perspective. Then
Okay.
this is a method which is going to help you. I'll show you the usage. Just to demonstrate, I'm just creating multiple classes. And ABC.
Mm.
Intentional, I'm creating some issue. Here,
Yeah.
default it is given the print stack trace. Otherwise, I can show you the whenever it is except is there, right? So same thing you just code otherwise.
Okay.
I'll show you the live example itself.
Mm.
That is a double example, right? I'll just do the same thing. So now if you look at it from this class,
So every class extended their parent class.
C and B and A, right? Problem we got in the class A. Some issue we got exception, right? But if you look at,
Yeah, you gave below 20.
yeah, this A class has reported a exception. It came to B because B is its next level. So B is also throwing exception. Is not handling, right? Then it goes to C, and C is also throwing exception. Then it came to the main method, main class, right? So like
Oh,
that,
when the parent class throws the exception directly, it doesn't comes to main?
how come it comes to actually main? Did this guy called A? No, right? This guy called C. This guy
Oh, okay.
called B.
See, okay.
This guy
It
called
created
A,
object. Mm, mm,
right?
mm.
So there is a
Okay.
relation. So
Mm,
it
mm,
navigates the hierarchy accordingly.
mm,
Now the problem is reported to me. If you look at my console, assuming that this is the message I given,
mm.
then
Print style.
we directly knows that issue in so and so file name and the class A at the line number 11.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that. So issue is here. Understood?
Okay.
So what I meant to say is print stack trace is going to give you the complete stack trace that in which Java class, in which method, and which file is giving the error.
Okay.
So being a developer, we should know, right? And are working
Mm.
with project. So we are not working with single class. We will be linking to n number of classes. So somewhere it might give some exception. So, but it might throw to the various error. But you should know that where exactly the origin has started. That what is the actual causing of this issue. So then you should go to that particular class to provide the issue, to provide the
Okay.
right.
Mm,
Print
mm.
stack is going to give me the complete stack trace. Means whatever the navigations like top to bottom, like end to end. So from where it has invoked, from that method to which method it has. So in this case, all the file names are same. That's why it's giving same file names. But if you are using different Java file names, so from here it gives us C.Java and then B.Java, A.Java. Like that, it next it gives you the complete details of what are the call navigation mode from which Java file to which Java file.
But why you didn't give the classes A, B, C? Just it gave only Java.
We are giving in the same file, right?
Okay.
We are coding in the same file. Let's say if you move into class A.Java, isn't it like this? Yes, different classes, right? Now if you rerun your main method, see that from printstaktrace, you are given a call to C.Java. From there, it has given a call to B.Java. From there, it has given a call to A.Java. In
Mm,
A.Java, line number 11 is the issue.
mm.
This is line number. In B.Java, from there, the call is navigated from B.Java for line number 5. From line number 5, it has given the issue, right? Like that, you
Okay.
can know that complete stack trace, like what was, where was the problem?
Okay, we need to create in separate packages.
So ideally, this class is written by someone, this is written by someone, this is written by someone. So when you link all together in a single project,
Oh, same package but different
not a
classes.
single package, it can be any package.
Okay, okay.
Intention is when you are dealing with multiple classes,
Hmm.
in any class you might get in any issue, right?
Yes.
You're handling exception, you should know right in which class which was the issue, right?
Yeah.
If I simply display this message,
Hmm.
do you know like in which class it is? You don't know, right?
No, no, yes.
So
Hmm.
that's where like you have to use this method in your development environment and the log files to show you that the problem is from so and so file. Then do
Oh,
you
e dot
support
print.
print stack trace. Stack
Okay,
trace.
print stack.
Yes.
Okay, stack trace.
If you use this method, this will tell you that this is the problem happening, this is the file, and this is the line number. Then you can jump onto that file. If it's your file, you can go back to that and you can address that issue. If it is someone else's file and you can capable of, like you can fix that issue, otherwise you're going to
Hmm.
communicate with that issue that is a problem I'm
Hmm.
getting from so and so
Hmm.
method,
Hmm.
right? Intention
Hmm.
here is so like this gives you complete information like where exactly the problem is.
Hmm.
Understood? The print stack is
Understood.
so for the outer world, for the end user, we'll only display this message that problem is
Yeah.
going to edge. But for us, actually, we should know that, right? This is the problem.
Okay, if you wouldn't give this print stack trace, these red color, these four messages wouldn't have come.
Yes.
Okay, only the age should be within okay, only that error it would showed. Okay.
Now, so this is the complete string, right? In case if you
Yeah.
want to get only this first line, or if you want to get only this line, we do have another methods.
Yeah. So,
Tostring and the get message. I'll just comment this. When I say tostring, I got only the first line, right?
yeah, to trace the error, we need to give that. Okay.
Yes, in your development, you need to use extensively, otherwise you don't know the problem where it is.
Yeah, yeah. But because right now we are
Simply
using
because
only one or two classes.
you're the developer, that you should also figure it out, right?
Yes, yes.
When I say only get message, I got only the right side message.
Hmm.
For the people in the outer world, I'll just pass this message
Hmm.
for using up my application. But in the
Hmm.
background, I'll just look for this information. Okay, that means in the log files, I'll write this message. But to
Hmm.
the user interface, I'll show this message to the user saying that this is a
Hmm.
problem. At least he'll understand.
Hmm.
You got it?
Hmm. Understood.
Difference between all three methods, right?
Hmm.
Java IO. So nothing but Java input output operations. IO just open input output means
Hmm.
till now we are suppose you want to pass some input. Either we were using command line earlier, right?
Hmm.
Or else directly we are fixing some value in your program. Suppose age directly I'm fixing 19, I'm running program, right?
Okay.
So in case you want to have the live interaction means you can ask user to enter something and the user is entering, you're reading something, that is much more interactive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Command line
Mm-hmm.
arguments are not interactive. If you observe,
Yes.
suppose I need
Hmm.
to pass five parameters, I just need to pass five parameters, being an assumption that first parameter is this one, second parameter is this one, right? But nowhere there is a standard that enter something there is not going to ask for something that enter employee number. You can enter something, right? That's not possible in the command line, right?
No, that is not possible. Yes.
Yeah, till now also, so we are just passing something input in the program on the fly and we are running. Suppose if you want to have something user interactive, means we can ask for something, user is going to enter something, right? Better interactive, right? So using IO, you can do that kind of a programming. Java input output. So here we have primarily two classifications: input output streams and the readers and writers. So input output streams, input is nothing but for reading and output is for writing. Reading something from the file or from the keyboard, or output is to writing something onto the file or console, right? The same way, these are stream oriented, means completely based on the byte streams. And in the same way, equal to two more things are readers and writers. These are character oriented, means occupies more space. Readers are to read something and writers are to write something. These are the four classifications at the high level we do have in the IO. Okay.
Readers. Okay, readers means we are reading
Readers are
the.
equal to input and writers are equal to output. Only thing, these are in the byte format. These are in the characters format.
Okay, input and output and byte and writers.
Character based.
Character.
So
Okay.
mostly we prefer to go for this one because those are performance is bit faster.
Okay, byte format.
And System.out, System.in. These are the three standard names which are available. System.out is to point to standard output stream. System.in is to point to input standard input stream. System.err points to standard error output stream. Okay.
Okay.
We observe System.out has a println method, right? We were using from the day one. And this one also I showed you a couple of once. We have used a read method once. And this one is also a println method. So system is a class. Okay. Inside that, out is one stream and in is one stream and err is one stream. Okay. So system is actually Java class which is created for us. Inside that, out is a stream and in is a stream and err is a stream. These are three streams which are declared inside your system class. So if you apply some function on the out stream, it's going to write something on your console. If you apply something on this function, this in stream, it's going to help us in reading something on the keyboard. If you apply something on the error stream, it's going to print something on your console as an error message.
Okay.
Till now, without unknowingly, we're just using directly this one to print something on the console. But actually, like we are calling a method on a stream which is there in a class called system. Clear now? If you ask them like what is System.out, you have to tell them this is a class, final class. Inside that out is a stream. Inside that there is a method called println method.
And this system is an predefined method.
System is a class.
Okay, class. Predefined classes.
This is
okay.
Java. So in the Java.in you can see the system class.
Okay, system. And println is a method.
Method in or on top of out stream.
On top of out stream. So out is a stream, okay.
Out
in system class.
Yeah, out is a stream, in is a stream, err is a stream in system class.
Okay.
Okay, now let me show a small example. So this prints in a regular format. So I'm just changing to error. This prints in a error format.
Okay.
Hello, and this is in red color because it's an error, right?
Mm-mm.
Now System.in.read. As and when I use the third one, .in.read, immediately it was given an exception because now I started working with file handling. File handling means I need to worry about the IO exception. So it's telling me that I need to handle the IO exception.
Okay, okay. Whenever we are going to use the files, okay, defaultly it will ask for the handlings. Okay.
So now this is not going to give me any issue. It's asking something, but right?
Hmm.
Understood?
Okay, it gave a okay.
It's not. I have not given. It just asked for something and just given input. Okay. Let me show you.
Okay.
In between, I'll add. So
Hmm.
when I run this one, it will wait for me after printing hello. I'll just put
Okay.
something D. Then it printed I. So then it's waiting for my
Oh,
input here.
okay. You gave some data to the file.
Yes, I data to the input. But
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
catching here. I'll show you how to catch in the next session. So I'm waiting for, as and when I do this, it waits for something. When you input
Okay.
something, then immediately it moves to the next execution.
Hmm.
Okay.
Understood.
So this one I was about to show. Any doubts as of now in today's class?
Today also we discussed all about okay exceptions. Okay. Okay.
Every day like topics link this like we are like almost in middle, right? So we'll be having a lot of topics. I think yesterday I showed you the topics, right? Did you get a
Yeah,
chance?
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
Okay, okay. So like all the topics, whatever I just given a high level topics just to show you.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, you mentioned that also, that
yes.
these are
Because
only
yeah, after throws class, if you look at it, I just mentioned only IO. But in IO,
okay.
we'll be having the lot of topics like this.
Yeah, you
So
just mentioned that also in
I
the
could not
there.
mention all those things, so just high level I just mentioned.
Yeah, you told that many sub methods
Yes,
will be there.
yeah.
Something you told there. Okay,
If
subtopics.
you take the collection, it will be having 10 to 15 APS that we'll be discussing inside. Well, we cannot
Oh
list
my
all
God.
those things, right?
Oh my God, yes.
And
Yeah, it's difficult also. We can't do that. That's okay. It's an outline. That's
this one itself, I took this much time to share you this information. Not get waste content. You
and
should
thank you
keep on
for that. You
postponing it.
shared me. Oh,
So, like, any doubts? The
no,
topic
I'm right.
clear, right?
I'm clear with that.
Okay, Arita, I think we are good for today and we'll
Okay.
continue on Monday. Happy week.
Yeah. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.